I was not, I heard, I missed
Did you
it.
see a full house drive by?
I know, wasn't home
I
to
just
see
about
it.
run into it, it's parked down here waiting for another highway patrol.
I keep hearing about this house situation.
Where did it go?
Right over by, or Dave Ditz lives.
Down that little township road by David's, has a cul-de-sac at the end.
I've been there.
Is it on one of the lots up by the lake?
Like Val Stump.
No, but I mean.
Yeah.
And who was?
Contractor. Travis Thomas.
Oh, Travis?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, he called. One of you guys was, I think he
I went up there for a approach.
took the call. Okay, yeah.
Is it Tom Ferrari or Tom?
No, Tom, T-H-O-M.
Okay.
Shoes.
Oh, you should have that. That is, I can ask tomorrow, but usually that's October. They say process property taxes.
Yeah, cause I double checked today and I said, oh,
Yeah, I didn't get any either. I'll check with you. I know.
Call a meeting to order, somebody have a pledge of allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Joe, present. Dale.
Here.
Ryan. Yep. Larry.
Here.
Ronnie.
Yep.
Jackie.
Here.
Present. Any additions to the agenda?
I had one, under new business, number D. Maybe, and I don't know if that's work alarms, but I'm just wondering if you guys can talk about fixing that Altman Drive area over by Coolman's. That they tore out, they cut out the tar and now it's,
We got that taken
Gravel?
care of.
you do?
I also have a, addition under, township road report, I would put it under, letter B. And that would be 251st road repair. And, Supervisor Arns will be taking that
What was
one.
that, 250?
251st,
I guess under road report, I would also add just a brief update on Alcott. And Arnie, should we discuss Amlin?
Yeah, we can do that.
So I'd add Amlin as well. And do we want to perhaps give a formal answer to Marlene's question?
Oh, yeah, we'll give her an answer.
Is that it? Looking for motion to approve the amended agenda.
I'll make that motion.
Arnie's made a motion, I have a second. I'll second. Joe seconded, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Any corrections to minutes from last month? Not looking for a motion to approve them.
I'll make that motion.
Larry's made a motion, do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Arnie seconded, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. President report, Marlene?
All right, at our last meeting, we had $69,487.01 in the checkbook. We earned a dividend, a big whopping dividend of $9.63 last month. Checks at our last meeting totaled $22,687.57. Electronic transfers totaled $492.20. There have been no deposits, so the balance tonight is $46,316.87. The bank statement balance shows a balance of $69,374.10, less the checks that haven't cleared of $23,057.23. All deposits have cleared, so the balance in the checkbook is $46,316.87. The money market had a balance of $55,704.36. We earned a dividend of $38.92 for a balance of $55,743.28. The share account remains at $36.09. Total monies in the township right now are $102,096.24.
We get our gas from the county this month.
Yeah, well, we should be getting something. We've gotten nothing yet. So
That comes to state or federal.
the gas tax is state, I think, but we should be getting the October settlement from the county. And that hasn't shown up and it's late. So I'm a little,
Government was shut down.
well, yeah, well,
So how much is that?
I'm thinking it's gonna be a little over 100,000.
The questions on the treasury report? None, I would prefer a motion to approve it.
I'll make that motion.
Larry's made that motion, I have a second.
I'll second.
Dale seconded, all in favor? Aye.
Thank you,
Opposed?
Marlene.
Motion carried.
Was that the last, NBC drainage one we're gonna have for a while? The check that we just cut them?
Yeah, that's for that culvert and that's what their contract out on.
Oh, that's over here, that's not on.
No.
We got that at last month's meeting. They dropped it off on Tuesday, but it was processed tonight.
Okay.
Arnie will speak to another one, potentially on Amway.
It is the 28th.
Yes.
Thank you.
Oh, okay.
So this is.
That PD covers, you know, towards the end. I did.
Finish one?
But yeah, but funny trail. You did though. Did for- That's part of
So
it.
that one, that one. Yeah, because that was supposed to be somewhere on 15 or
Must have hooked up with the passage.
That's me.
Chainsaw. So, sitting over here. Chainsaw and battering ram. Let's go. That's me.
Did you get a new printer?
Hmm?
Did you get a new printer?
Not yet.
Looking for a motion to approve the bills.
I'll make that motion.
Dale's made that motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Joe seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Resident comments? A,
All right, Rochelle, that's you.
Am I standing up?
You can stand up, yep,
You can do whatever you want.
whatever you want, yeah, whatever you're most
whatever you're
comfortable.
comfortable.
So my name is Rochelle Taylor, and I own Fuller Life Retreat. It's the big, kind of strange Spanish-looking house on 98. Used to be Olive Branch Retreat.
Oh,
They used to be
The old preach house.
Yeah, and that, yeah.
okay.
Monsignor that married most of the people in town, or
I thought
whatever.
you were gonna say that my senior day on there.
What is it called now, Rochelle? It's Fuller Life Retreat.
Fuller, okay.
The lake is Lake Fuller.
Lake Fuller, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So I was really just updating and amending my CUP. I was updating it and I needed to amend it because the way that the former owners had it listed, so I'm using it the same way. The way that they had it listed was for an occupancy of 14. It really was up to an occupancy of 22 and I reduced that to 20. So that's why I'm doing the CUP. Otherwise, it's the exact same utility, basically, doing weddings. People use it as an Airbnb in the summer, just as for family reunions, getaways on the lake, and trying to get it used more frequently in the off-season, in the spring and fall. It's beautiful up here now, but people just kind of stop coming. I think if they can't jump in a lake, they're like, why would I be on a lake? So that's what we're doing up there. I'm happy to answer any questions that you have about what it's used for.
So you're going from 14 to 20?
From 20 to 14.
Yeah, according to the paperwork.
Okay.
Yeah,
Oh,
it
you
really
agree?
was already at 22 because there
Okay.
was more like pull-out guns.
So you're dropping down to 14 then?
I'm dropping down to 20. There's
Oh, the 20?
Yeah,
Okay.
which according to the paperwork is up 6 instead of,
It was set up for 14.
Yeah.
With the paperwork 22, we'll go down to 20.
Okay.
And you use that for like weddings and
weddings, just,
stuff.
yeah, weddings, people really just rent it out. You know,
Anniversaries, birthdays.
Then
Any place where you can't gather, 20 people or more at your home, and the grounds are huge, so you could do way more outside, but overnight accommodations is limited to 20. So people use it for everything that they can't bring their family to, and sometimes you just don't want to do those things in your own house. People will have weddings up here and their overflow will stay at the house, but they're having their wedding someplace else, or they live up here.
so the county said you don't have to do anything with your sewer.
I'm on a septic, so it needs to be updated every few years. I'm still at the beginning stages of like getting the rhythm of when those things need to happen, but it was I had it inspected right before I bought it, and that's about 2 years ago.
Any comments from the residents? Any more comments from the board? No?
Just like it that it's being used again. It's a
Yeah.
beautiful spot.
It's a beautiful spot. So if you have opportunity to encourage people to use it more, it sounds like it was used a lot by people that are local. And so I don't know if people didn't know what happened when it stopped being used as Olive Branch, but it's being used as the exact same thing. So if you have anybody or know anybody locally that still wants to use it, it's available. Ice fishing, surprised that people.
Do you advertise at all?
Yeah.
I guess I never saw.
Yeah, I do. I haven't advertised as much up here just because I don't live up here and it's hard to know
Okay.
what's the best way. I signed up for some Facebook groups right away.
So where are you from?
Well, I grew up in Minneapolis. I live in Blaine. So the Twin Cities generally, I sell real estate down there.
So as the next two, as Rochelle and also our next guest, again, the county is sending them to the township, as we've seen each month now, to get action from the board, just lending your support to Rochelle's request.
Consensus is already.
Yep, is fine.
And they don't have any paperwork to fill out?
They can either bring paperwork or they don't have to. What'll happen is the minutes will reflect it, and planning and zoning will request a copy of the minutes or go out on the website and look at our minutes, is what they've been doing too. If the applicant doesn't bring a signature form.
There's a signature now, but it's optional. So we'll see how long it continues to be optional. I already took the picture just in case.
I appreciate you coming in.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah.
And good luck.
Thank
Good
you.
luck.
Thank you.
Okay.
We're gonna stay listening to your CUP before we go.
So I'll make note that the board is by consensus lending, giving their support to Rochelle's request.
What's a CUP?
Conditional use permit.
Oh, did you know that? Okay.
And you can stay or you can leave, whatever you want
There's
to do.
one more CUP, and so I just wanted to hear that.
Okay, no, I just, oh, you know. Item B,
Okay, Judy?
That would be, yes.
That would be you.
Judy and Bert.
Judy Burt.
Yes. Well, we didn't get anything from zoning and planning. We've been up there, but they didn't give us any paperwork. That said we should appear to the township. And we're proposing some subdivision, I guess it would be called, planning out on Archer Drive.
We got, there's six lots. That's what the surveyor has done a preliminary body of that.
And this,
I kind of put them, it was so hard to see, I enlarged it a little bit, but I couldn't get it big enough to print it off, but it's 150 feet road access, and then most of them 280 feet deep.
Yeah, and the cul-de-sacs are down there, yeah.
Yeah, state land's down here.
So this is where the cabins and houses are.
Yeah, east of the cabin.
So you do it
Existing cabin.
across that.
Right.
What's going on? Making back lots here.
Okay.
These are existing cabins and stuff like that.
Okay.
people from the cabins that approached us on my land,
That's not for a shed or something, maybe.
and I think so. And word got around, somebody asked already about building a house, but we're not anywhere near that, we still have to, go through this and go through the zoning planning and whatnot, so. It's pasture land right now.
And no access to the lake.
No.
Except for the public land.
This bottom one that has a dotted line but not a lot number on the lake side, is that a lot or is it a double lot?
We, after number 10,
Yeah, so there's 10 and then there's this empty,
yeah, I don't know if that should be state land, I'm pretty sure.
It's a state wetland.
Well,
It's the state, bought that to my dad to put
there's a
fish
creek that runs
spawning
here.
Yep,
And
I think that's,
I think they used it a couple years and now it's,
I'm just trying to understand if this lot has access to the lake,
no,
property
no,
would be here, or if this is a double lot,
no, I believe this is state land.
but if this is state, then it wouldn't be a dotted line here.
Yeah, but no one happens next to, Joey there. Unless, no, it only shows.
Well, isn't there a sign down there that says it's
Yeah.
state land?
yeah, they surveyed it a couple years ago and put signs up
Yeah.
with all the. But I was just, I'm,
Where the cul-de-sac's not, doesn't show the cul-de-sac, and that cul-de-sac. Dead ends, just a.
Yeah, it's cul-de-sac, and then that button, that goes right up to the state line.
So there's 10 or 11 lake lots and you have 6 outlots, basically.
I think the lake lots are 100 foot when they, that was the width they had used back then, like 60s.
Any questions from the board?
How long, what are the dimensions of your lots?
Well, they have to do 150 feet of road, and then most of them are 280 feet deep. And just, most of them are close to an acre, just under an acre. I think there's a couple, one or two above. It's,
Any other questions from the board?
I have a question. Arnie and myself were out there yesterday, and he was showing me this, the grassland. Is that where the grassland and the field meet? Is that the end of the properties, or are you going more to the north?
they'll be more to the north too.
Okay. That's what I
It's
thought,
almost,
especially
it's almost,
if you're doing that many lots.
yeah, it'll take a little bit of the farm.
And we were told,
Sure.
Saturday, we can do this because of shoreline. Never did that before, but, yeah, so it's not agriculture. It's considered
Well, so
shoreline.
it's all.
Any questions from the president? Any more questions for the board? Consensus, so we agree to send it forward?
Mhm.
Thank you.
So now, Jackie, what do we do? Just go home and,
You can go back, go on your business and do whatever the county tells you to do.
okay.
Next.
So they get in touch with us, do you think?
or do we have
Well,
to?
Were you given a date that you needed to come in front of the thing?
we have to do soil borings.
Oh, you have some steps first. Okay.
We contacted someone to do that.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Thank you all.
I would just, yeah, stay in contact with Jamie,
Okay.
let her know what you're doing, and then depending on how the meetings fall, they'll move you into whenever the next one falls.
Right.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Yeah, you too, thanks.
Come back again. This is fun.
You can stay longer if you want.
I'd say go home.
Yeah, come on.
Fourth item A, Joel?
Okay, oh, did you get to number 7? Sorry, Joe.
Yes.
Okay. Joel, that would be you.
Well, hi, I'm Joel Vogel. I'm with a nonprofit called Advocates for Health. We started in 2018, and it's kind of nice to come here, walk in and see Jackie. We had crossed paths years ago, which was kind of fun. And Jeff comes walking in. We served on the Stearns County, Stearns Electric on board over there for a number of years for Operation Roundup. So it's kind of like wherever I go, I meet somebody that I know. And Larry and I have been talking on the phone back and forth, and you are
Beth from the city of Grego.
Beth, the city of Grego. So I'm going to break this presentation down to 2 things. I'm going to show you what the equipment does, and then I'm going to share with you kind of where we're at. Go ahead, Larry.
Before you get into that, I would just like to give a little backup as to how Joel is in here. A couple of years ago, you guys know, I tried to, I came to you guys with, getting a AED unit, which was shot down. But, you know, there's one now that is by Sandy Beach, by Falcao, and, on Big Birch, the residents there got together and put it in. They're trying to get 3 more around Big Birch. I think 3 more. And, Artie was apparently driving by, saw the EED sign, called,
Like
Jack first, got in contact with her. Got in contact with me, which I was more than happy to bring it back to the board again. You know, we are looking and, seeing what we can do to get, grants. So, you know, this is something that I think is needed. And I felt that way years ago, but now, you know, there's, you know, let's face it, we're all getting a little older. And, the places around here, yeah, everybody's getting older except for Jim. You know, I think is a good deal. You know, I know that you have stories that you can share, but, does anybody know Steve Dock? He was on Big Birch. He was, on your board for quite a few years. A few years back, I ran into Steve and I asked him how he was doing. And he said, well, I'm doing good, but I was dead a couple days ago. And, he said that he was out, I don't know, mowing his lawn or doing something outside. And he said the next thing he knew, he was looking up at all these people who were standing around looking down at him. He apparently had a heart attack, or, you know, his wife looked out the window, saw him laying on the ground, dialed 911. Lauren Bitz was, you know, the heating plumbing guy, was next door fixing somebody's plumbing. We got the call, ran over. I think he had a portable AED, and you know, saved his life. So, you know, I think that it's a good thing. I think that the deal with now the opioid thing in there is just a super added plus as far as I'm concerned. You know, there's all kinds of deals. You know, Ron Magner, I think we all remember Ron. You know, he had a heart attack. I don't know if this could have saved him or not, but you know, if there would have been one installed where it is now, it would have been probably 6 or 8 houses away from him. So, I mean, this is something I think that is going to be growing not only in Birchdale, but I think Gray Eagle has.
We do not have any right now. We applied, and we were denied.
Okay. But,
we do not have any.
You know, this is something that you see more and more. I know Melrose Park has got one, Fairy Lake has got one. It's got 2 of them. And
there's a second one in Melrose too by Coburns.
Okay, and I think there's one in Sauk Center too at the park.
Isn't there one in Church in St. Joseph?
28 of them in
one in Church.
Yeah.
28 in Sauk Center.
Some are in private
Yeah.
businesses. Yeah, because ICDA has one
Okay.
on the wall, but it's.
Okay, so that's, I mean, that's how this thing started. You know, I talked to, Pete Rutherford on Big Birch, who sent me to Jeannie Newhouse, yeah, who sent me to Gary
Rothstein,
who sent me to Joel. So that's how the whole thing kind of evolved.
And would you introduce yourself to the board?
I'm Beth Romaker. I'm the city clerk treasurer in Gray Eagle. And so Arnie had actually stopped in and talked to me about it because the city was wanting to do the same thing. We applied with the county for 2 of them. Unfortunately, we were denied, and this is why I was talking to Joel about it last week and found out he was coming here, and I had not met him, and just wanted to hopefully get some help with fighting the county for it.
So, that being said,
Don't worry about it.
we'll break it down into two, show you how this works and things like that. I'd like to know my audience, how many people in here have had a heart attack or heart condition?
My wife has a heart condition.
All right, I had a heart attack 21 years ago when I was 44 years old, 45 years old, I'm 67 now. And I was at home in St. Joseph and everything fell in right because they had all the equipment. Long story short, I was taken to the hospital, and there's 5 reasons why your heart can basically stop that we're aware of. One's a heart attack, which I had, and that's the plumbing part. It gets clogged up. You got a better chance of making it with a heart attack. And then you do sudden cardiac arrest. That's the electrical part of the heart where Jeff and I are talking and he just tips over. Drowning, electrocution, drug overdose, are all reasons why your heart can stop. And sudden cardiac arrest happens over 350,000 deaths a year in the United States. That's more than all the cancers combined. And I tell people that, and they go, no, Google it. It's unbelievable how many people die. If someone would go down in this room right now and they would have a sudden cardiac arrest, your chance of survival is 5%. If we can start CPR on you right away, and we can get an AED on you within the first 10 minutes and shock you, your chance of survival goes up to 75 to 80%, which is huge. So that's one of the important things. So what would happen, and our nonprofit started 2018, partner of mine, Rich Venice, and I got it going. They got a grant from Centricare. We put the first 3 in. It's 40 below outside. There's heaters in here, I'll show you in a minute, and things, and we got it taken care of. And from there, we just evolved. We're up to right now over 320 units, and we're in 5 states. There is monies available through the opioid settlement. We've worked with several. We're working with 40 counties right now in the state of Minnesota. And there's some misinformation that going back and forth. That's kind of like it. But here's what happens. We have these all over the area. If you want to know where they are, there's an app you can get for free. It's called Pulse Point. And on the Pulse Point app, it'll actually show you where the AEDs are located. So I actually pulled up Sauk Center here, and it's showing all these orange spots. Those are all where all the AEDs are, and they're registered on Pulse Point. So wherever you are, you can press it, and it'll also show you a picture of the AED hanging on the wall. Okay, so when I came in here, I dialed and said, where's the closest one? And came up to Gary Rothstein's residence, and it shows the AED outside there. So that helps us put AEDs in an area. That's what helped us in this, in Douglas County. We put 6 of the units in right downtown Alex. They didn't have any. And now we have 6 of these units outside. That was funded by the county opioid settlement. So here's what happens. So there's something, we've got these out in the open. Why? It's because there's a lot of AEDs, but they're locked up inside churches, they're locked up inside the libraries, they're locked up all over. You can't get in. So you want to get to it. These are outside, and this metal part here, I was doing a presentation like this in Holdingford, Minnesota, to the Lions Club, and Mr. Ruzeka from TW Enterprise says, we'll take 3 of them, but I'm building the cabinets. At the time, we were getting them out of Canada. Well, I got back on my phone and I left and said, hey, good news, there's about 3 of them. Guess what? We made it in Holdingford now. We're not making them in Canada. So there's 3 components. The metal component that it goes on, this red box, which comes out of Paris, France. Okay, and then inside would be the AED. So if this is out there and someone comes, first just call 911. It says open the cabinet where the handles are. Go like this, open it up and go. Now I have this quieted, but when you open it up, a large beep will sound and go for 45 seconds to draw attention. There's something going on there. Inside the cabinet here, we've got an Arcan, we've got a bleed kit, and we're getting these, this is just my demo, we're getting an Arcan, putting in blue pouches that are going to be, when you grab the AED and go, what happens is this comes off. There was a burst of 6 pictures that was taken when I opened it. Then it took another 6 and it calls Ray Hennepin Electric, who then calls 911 and says, hey, the AD at Gary Rossnine's house was just taken up on Big Birch Lake. Here's the address. Start people heading that direction. It takes 12 seconds for that to happen, which is amazing. So you grab this and you go, all right? The other thing we did at Gary Rossnine's residence is we put a black marker in here so they could write right here where they were going with it. So if you come up and you want to help out or whatever, maybe you hear it, you go and say, oh, they're going to Joe's place. And then you got the idea where you gotta go, okay? There is an Apple AirTag in here, so if you grab it and you go, we know where it is. So you take it and you just run over to where it's at. Hopefully somebody's sitting there and they already started CPR like they did for Mr. Goff. It's his wife and the plumber that actually saved him. Since that time, I got to know him within the last month because he's now joined our organization. He goes out and installs the he believes what's going on. So you grab the AD and go. Now, they're going to put any AD at all in here. We like this one because, as my son says, it looks like a Mattel toy, and a 12-year-old could use it. And they're right. I press start, and here's what it's going to say.
Training pads required. Powering off.
I gotta have the training pad snapped in there.
Training pads required. Powering off.
Can't be more embarrassing than have something like that happen, right?
Training pads required. Powering off. Training pads required. Powering off.
Well, this is my trainer. I use it all the time. And what it would say is it's the training mode, and then it'll say, and give you a visual on here and say, hey, find the pads packet in the back. So then you take this and you open it up and you would tear open the pads. Okay, and then once the pads are opened up, I know what happened, because this is a brand new set of pads. Steve borrowed this, and he changed my settings because he did the demo, and I just got it back from the other day. Anyhow, it'll show you a picture of the way to place the pads. So on here, it's talking through and saying, put the pads on the patient here, and things like that, and it'll actually say assessing the patient, and if a shock's required. So what'll happen, you can't shock somebody unless there's a shockable rhythm. So once it's on the person and it does that, it'll say stand clear and then shock, and then it'll say continue CPR. And at that point in time, it'll start counting for you here, beep, beep, beep. So it'll talk you right through the scenario of what you can do. One thing that we tell people when we do the training, there's another app out there other than Pulse Point that I tell people to consider. It's called CPR Rescue Me. And it's just like this. Now what I gotta do is with my phone, because I turned it on, because I can't go back. Power off now, turn it back on. CPR Rescue Me actually has 3 things in it. One of which is, what do you do if someone's choking? What do you do if somebody's drowned? As another thing. And then it does the CPR.
Now, if somebody has a pacemaker, can you use that?
Yes, actually, we get that question all the time. A pacemaker and defibrillator are 2 different things. A defibrillator is one of these mounted inside their chest. It'll give them a shock. A pacemaker keeps their heart going. My uncle just passed away here in August because his pacemaker battery wasn't working. And the nurse happened to be over at his assisted living with me. And she says, something's going on. She says, his heart isn't working. I says, well, he's got a pacemaker. It should be working. She says, this pacemaker is not working. That was at about 3 o'clock in the afternoon. By 8:30 that night, it passed because all the things that he had done weren't working, which you think would save you. But it had to have been, we made it to the hospital and never had a shock of that. Okay, well, that's a great question. So if you go to CPR Rescue Me, it comes up, it says, ask you 3 questions. Is the person in front of you unconscious, or they drowned, or they're choking? I'm going to say basically they're unconscious and hit continue.
Did they wake up?
It says to shake them. No, they didn't wake up.
Check if they're breathing. Lift the chin.
Pull the jaw forward, then listen and feel for air movement. Are they breathing?
Nope.
This person needs CPR. Tell
Listen to
someone to
this.
call 911. Tell someone to find Narcan, an opioid overdose antidote. Tell someone to find an AED, a heart restarter. Do not skip these steps. Once done, follow CPR instructions.
CPR instructions.
Kneel next to the person. Overlap your hands in the middle of their chest. Push down with your full body weight 30 times in the next 20 seconds. A timer will start now.
So what it does is it'll talk you through this. More than likely what will happen is with today's technology, it's 911 on the phone. The dispatchers stay with you and say, making sure that you're doing all these things as well. But if you don't have any of this stuff with you, it's going to be a problem. Where do you got a question?
Yeah, it doesn't this contact, somebody gets contacted, then they will call the
yes,
police, rescue, whoever, along with somebody yelling, hey, dial 911.
Yeah, that's a big thing. There's an ongoing monitoring at $60 a month, but that includes the batteries, the pads, the backup battery that's inside of here, the cell phone that's in here, the calling and everything that does that. We have a competitor in Minneapolis that has this, but they don't call 911. It sends a text message to 911. They don't answer text messages at 911. We found out. That's why we had to spend $10,000 for software and hook it up to get it done, so it does work.
So is there $60 a month?
$50, not $60. $600 a year, $50 a month.
Okay, so that's maintenance and everything, and software and everything you check on?
We actually have had these cabinets that are right here get the sun really baked down on them. We've gone out, we've replaced them all. We want that stuff looking good and fresh and ready to go. We come out, we clean them. In summertime, there'll be bugs that'll get inside here. Down in Florida, we get ants. In Florida, we operate them off of solar power instead of electric. The white part here is the heater. So when this is in here and it's 40 below outside, it's 40 above inside there, okay? There's an air here, so that keeps it cool in the summertime. Did you ever have your cell phone ever get so warm that it doesn't work? Yeah, so you gotta cool it down. Same thing for an AED. They're not gonna work if it's ready to get out quick. So that keeps it ready to go at all times. So what we ended up doing is we were doing this for 5 years, put on all these units, and then the opioid settlement came along. And we did a little history on that. The opioid settlement, I think, is something like $20 billion throughout the whole United States, where they had a time frame of 18 years. And started going. So every county gets so much money that they get for the next, actually, we're into it for, I think we're into it already for, how many years? We're into it for 3 years already. Todd County gets $98,000 a year for the next 15 years, and they got $200,000 in the bank account right now. They have to use it for opioid-related things. They can't tar roads, they can't do things like that. It's part of the agreement.
So is this considered an opioid thing if you have Narcan in there?
As soon as we add Narcan to it, everything changes. Because that's part of the settlement. Have you guys ever seen Narcan? Yes, if you have, some of you have it. Just comes like this in a little nasal type spray. Each one of these boxes is about $20 or so. We include that when it comes in. And we got relationships with people to replace it if it's used. The best way I'll say to you about Narcan and the way it's explained to me, by the Steve Brumler Foundation down in Minneapolis, who we partnered with, is if in fact someone takes an overdose on a drug, it's like a gymnasium, and you're turning the light switches off, off the circuit panel. The circuits start going out. You take that shot, you put up the nose, and you give them a shot, and the light switches start coming back on. Usually it takes 2 of those, and you gotta wait like 2 to 3 minutes before you give them a second shot. In the meantime, you have the AED hooked up to the person, and if it needs to be a shock, it'll tell you, shock advised, stand clear, and then it'll just talk you right through it. But because we're putting Narcan inside there, it meets the requirement. The other thing is, what happens if there's a drug overdose and the Narcan doesn't work, or you're there too late? What are you gonna need? An AED. Because if somebody's on the ground and you happen to be driving by or whatever it might be, that new place that this lady's talking about, it was just in there from Minneapolis, and she got it out at her facility, they got a party going on and somebody goes down and come running over. Why is this person down? Have they drowned? Were they electrocuted? You know, did they have a heart attack? Did they have sudden cardiac arrest? Is it a drug overdose? You can't harm them. That's why that when I just hesitated when I prayed that. That's from the American Red Cross that says, here's the steps. Call 911. Find Narcan. You know, go get an AED. I'm going to start CPR. You do those steps. Don't miss any of those steps. Because you can give somebody Narcan, ain't gonna hurt them at all.
Does that work on other things besides just a drug overdose?
Just the drug overdose. Won't do any, to my knowledge, that's what it is. There is an expiration date on these, but guess what? They don't expire. We give them back to the Steve Hunter Foundation and then we label them and things. But the government's got regulations and things. I don't know if you guys have seen this or you want to see them.
Except they'll be drunk by the shop one.
So, go ahead.
I have a question. So once that, it's opened up and used, how soon do you guys come back and, I don't know,
Next day.
reload it?
Next day. Yep.
Do you have scissors in there?
Yeah, actually, that's another good question. Everybody says, what are all the bags for? This bag here, is gonna have and you can put whatever you want, a razor if you got a hairy chest and you gotta shave that off, because what part of the demonstration, if my thing would have been working right, it would have said poor pad placement, and you have to shave the hair and get it on. If you're like me and you already have a heart attack, I actually shaved my chest, so I got a tattoo that says place pad here and place pad there. Okay. But I do keep the hair shaved on my chest, I'll be candid with you. There's a scissors inside here. There's also, there's a mask as an option, we didn't put it in here. There's gloves, there's things like that are available. And then the other thing that we added now to these are a bleed kit, in case someone would have such a serious injury, they need that. When we first did that, we said, I wonder when the hell's ever gonna use a bleed kit? And then this summer in Florida, a summer worker was pushing a aerator, Powerator, and it went over his foot. And they put a tourniquet on his foot. He lost his foot, but he saved his life. So they medevacked him out of there and things like that. So you never know. So the cabinets have turned in more to a public access safety cabinet with an AED, naloxone, or Narcan, and then stop the bleed kit that are in there.
Do you have any vandalism on those?
Great question. 320 units out there. One girl got mad at her boyfriend at St. Ben's and took a baseball bat to it one night. We got her on film, but the St. Joe police where I live did not want to go around St. John's looking for a blonde-haired girl in a black hoodie.
So it's been good, I mean, for vandalism.
No, right. So what happens is, there's cameras and things. Did I show you some of the pictures that it takes? I showed it to Larry earlier on. What the pictures are that they take. They're really, really good photos that are taken. So the first one is a picture of a kid in Little Falls, and he was just snooping. We get snoopers that come on. Well, we sent that to the police department in Little Falls. Well, the resource officer at the high school knew who he was. Made a visit to the house, and that didn't happen anymore. We've had several saves already at Coburn's. It's one of the employees at Coburn's going out to grab it and things. So he's able to do that. That's one of the questions, and that the Stearns County, or not Stearns, but the Todd County opioid had sent out a statement to the 3 places that applied and said, we're not funding AEDs anymore. We funded the 2 at Ferry Lake. They paid for them both. And he said, we think maybe we shouldn't have done that because we opened up a can of where everybody's going to come in and want to do that. Well, my information that I shared with them, and I contacted them and sent Catherine some information in the mail and said, hey, I'd like to revisit that. I called Bob Byers, who's the chair of the county commissioners, and want to be invited to their opioid meetings. About don't fund all of it if you guys don't think you have the money, but that's exactly what this is. It meets all the criteria that you got to have in order.
So when is that
Spend the
next
money.
meeting? Do you know when that next meeting is?
Do not know, but I will find out.
18th or 19th of November.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so what happened was Larry gets a hold of me, and I took a look at that, and he said, we have a meeting here tonight, so I sent him a bunch of information in the mail, or via email, correct?
Yes.
And here's hard copies, but I'm not sure. And I got some more for you guys too, and you got one already. So the front part, it shows the 350 deaths and the statistics that are on there and things. The front of the cabinet is where we're at. Now Jeff is here, and Jeff and I were talking, he was saying, hey, I got some monies that these organizations for gambling funds, they have to spend them by the end of the year. They pay a heavy penalty for taxes. So he's saying, well, where should we be putting these? Same thing for the city of Great Eagle and things. The more people you can get involved with this, the better off you are. And I think Douglas County did a really good job because they gave us $30,000 and we got 6 units for 60 grand. Where then the businesses and the chamber people all started kicking. Then we put their logos like on the front and things. So more people that know about it then come to the training and they know it.
So you said that they got like $250,000 in the bank right now or something.
Oh, 200,000 for what I understand.
And then they're gonna get,
$198,000
$98,000 a year.
for the next 15 years.
So why would they say we don't wanna do this anymore because we're gonna open up a can of worms?
Because I think they got some misinformation on it. They said, well, one of the things that the question that Catherine asked me is that, are they ever used? Valid question. So I sent her the statistics from our own cabinets, which I'll give you guys a copy of. I think I only made like 3 of these, so I don't know. Maybe Jackie, you can make some more later here. But, and what this says in here, this one shows, actually, I think we're more than 3. I must have been thinking.
Got it out, Jackie.
Got
Okay, that one. Everyone got one?
So does the state allow these on both land state property?
No, the DNR frowns on it and things they have, so we've gone to the neighbors next to the DNR and they put them up. But this is 2025. This is just, these things are monitored 365 days a year, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week with this monitoring here. We're constantly, so we know when the batteries need to be replaced. We know what the temperature is in here at all times. And on here it said in 2025, we had 18 training sessions. We had 6 emergency events where the AED was removed but not needed. We had 1 life-saving event, and this is 2025, that a couple months ago was used in Wade Park. The AED was used and saved the individual and things. Of the 5 years that we've had, with over 300 out there, we've gone to over 30 times they've been taken out and used. Hollingford, Minnesota, where these are made, at the high school football game a number of years ago, one of the students got hurt real bad. Because we had done the training and everything at the school, one of the students in the stand went running over to the unit, grabbed the AED, and went running onto the field with it, and they had it there just in case. Now, people say, that's just in case. Does that really work? Well, it happened to me at the mayor's prayer breakfast in St. Cloud, where all of a sudden they came over the microphone at 6:30 in the morning and said, hey, is anybody, we need a doctor. Is there a doctor over there? The doctor went and he did things, and I went and grabbed the AED. The local police department was sitting there. They didn't hear the announcement and things, and that's what happens because there's 1,000 people there. Well, I went in there and I came in and said, I got the AED. There happened to be a doctor. He grabbed it. He didn't read it. He just pulls off the pad, slaps it onto the guy, and then it was monitoring, and it said no shock advised. And so they're watching what's going on there, and he said to the guy, you got a really faint pulse. He says, we're not going to shock you, but you're going to make it. You're going to be okay. And that's what we ended up taking to the hospital. They made it. But that tells you what's going on, which is the other thing that people don't realize is when this is hooked up to your heart, it's telling what's going on. And I thought, well, that's kind of good. There's a USB card in there they can go to the hospital. Well, my son, who retired from the military, 24 years as an air rescue swimmer, moved back to take care of us, and he actually does our training for us because That's what he did for a living. Well, he's in Minneapolis and his fiance is at home. She goes to the CVS store in St. Cloud. While she's there for something, her heart goes into the atrial fib. 584 beats a minute. It's about ready to blow up. People at CVS Pharmacy, sit down, don't you move, don't you move. The male ambulance comes and says, we're gonna shock you. You know, they're more experienced than somebody, you know, like that would just come up. They shocked her, got her to the hospital. I made it to the hospital for my son, walked in there, and the doctor comes in and says, I wish the heck I would have known what was happening in that heart before they shocked her. And I said, well, why don't you take the thing out of the AED and plug it into your computer and you'll be able to tell. And the doctor says, I forgot about that. Grabs it, goes in, it comes back, and she looks at me and says, how did you know that? Well, then of course I tell her what I've been doing the last 5 years. But yeah, that helps the doctors a lot. In some of the newer AEDs, it shows you a QR code that you can take, click, and you can send it to the hospital you go into so the doctors know how to treat the patient when they come. But I'm getting more and more advanced. So go ahead.
No, I was just gonna, I asked you about this once, but my wife was a dental hygienist for like 40 years. And they had one in their office and everybody had to go through training on that. And I was talking to her about, you know, this and, you know, where the paths go and all that stuff. And she said, and I thought this was interesting. She said, if a woman has a heart attack like that, there's no such thing as modesty because you have to cut all the clothes off. You got to take the bra off, especially if there's like under wires and clips and stuff like that. Because if they shock a person and they've got those on, it will burn them.
If you're a female and you go downtown Great Eagle, your chance of having someone even stop and saving you are only 40% because you got boobs. If a male goes down in Great Eagle on the ground, he's got a 80% chance that someone will stop and save him. It's just the facts.
So that's one of the things that the scissors are used for.
This is one of the handouts that I sent also to Catherine. It says the importance of having naloxone available with an AED. I wanted to give her some facts and information that would happen. Did I email this one to you yet? Yeah, I'll get you a copy of what I sent there. And things. So that was another one that I sent out because she wanted some data and information. And then the other one that I sent off to her was there's on the bottom here. So if anybody wanted to go with that, this one actually talks about the importance of having first aid resources, of having an opioid available as well. So there's data and information out there that says that. So what we're trying to do in this area is, in one swoop, I'd like to get to the opioid settlement people. So if you know anybody that's on the board for Todd County, call me and say, you guys should really revisit this because you've seen a presentation and you guys they all asked for the money, so you were told no. Rothstein asked for money, and they were told no. Did you guys ask for it, or you're waiting to send the information in?
So I called Catherine earlier in the week and wanted to know, because I had asked her about it. And I talked to her today, and I also talked to her 2 days ago. She said, she gave me kind of the history. She said, right now, Jackie, we are not funding those because for us, we are putting our focus on the opioid and maybe doing distribution centers of the Narcan or other options. But then today when I talked to her, to clarify, she said that you would be coming to their next committee meeting, 18th or 19th of November. She said she had invited you and that you had suggested maybe that they could pay for half of the machine for people and that you were going to advocate for that when you came to their presentation. She didn't commit to anything.
No, but we've taken it from a completely, no, you guys aren't going to get any money of this $98,000. I'm just saying, what the hell are you going to use it for? For instance, brochures that are going to be on a rack. Why won't you have it out in the community and use this? I'm going to Stearns County. You know what I'm talking to them about? They get $500,000 a year. $500,000 a year. They got 2.5 million in the bank. I got 117 of these cabinets in Stearns County. I'm saying, give me $400 a cabinet, I'll change them over, I'll put the different fronts in, I'll add the naloxone on the front, we'll do training around the area, and you've got 131 cities in Stearns County. I'll cover 126 of them instantly. Now, the remaining cities, St. Rosa and Freeport, that you don't have one in, and there's a couple more, buy a cabinet. For $500,000, they can cover all of Stearns County. And still have $2 million in the bank. And meet all the requirements. So that's what we're trying to do. Now, not only should Todd County consider putting these in and working with the townships on these, they should take a look at the map and say, where should we go next year? Who else should we fund? Or they could put a limit on and say, any lake association or any township that wants to apply for the monies and things like that, we're gonna fund up to 50% of the cabinets up to, $30,000 or something like that. So you got limits. And then say, well, okay, you missed it this year, apply next year. Because the money's gonna keep coming in and it has to be used. If you ever wanna see I had to carry it with me, it's this thick, the rules and regulations for how you gotta spend the money. If you go to the state of Minnesota website, it'll tell you, right, it'll tell you how you gotta do that, and that's kind of what we do. This is the application that they funded Ferry Lake with. They gave them $20,000. Todd County. Funded the whole thing. I don't think it was a mistake. I think that maybe it would have been neat if they did half, because those lake associations had some money and they would have been able to pay for it as well. Once again, the more people that you get involved, the better off you are. Real quick, how many people in this room know how to do CPR? That's pretty good. It's been a while, right? We get a lot, while. So the other thing that we do is whenever we install one of these units, we come out and we do training. And there's just like 25, 30 people over in Township in, actually it's one of these in the handout here. Nope, St. Cloud, which township did that say? Tom Grant's, 1 week after we installed it, he's over by the reformatory in the township there. 1 week after we installed it, he's out in his garage after he's been doing some cooking and things. He fell over and his wife seen him. She called the neighbor and called 911. They went over, they did CPR on him, they shocked him with the AD 7 times. The male ambulance in St. Cloud going from where they were to, got stuck on Highway 10 when the train was coming through for 7 minutes. The reality of it is that if you go down with sudden cardiac arrest or drowning or drug overdose, it's not going to be the cavalry, it's going to be your neighbor, your loved one, or your friend that saves you, like Steve Dopp was saved by his wife and the plumber that just happens to be next door. But if we can get those tools out there and in their hands, the better off they want to be.
Well, there was a guy on Hunter's Bay a couple of years ago that had a heart attack. And he ended up dying. They had they airlifted him the whole works, but by the time they got everything done, it was too late.
Well, the other thing that happened, Ross Steins put one on their lake, because they had it the year before, they had somebody that went down and the ambulance went to the wrong boat landing.
Really?
And he didn't make it because by the time they got there, you only have 10 minutes before that oxygen in your brain starts going on. So this is pretty, all of our kids in school are being taught this in their health classes. So there's generations of kids that have to have this taken care of. Our generation had it, we had it at work, we forgot about it, but it makes it so much easier when we're able to come up and have this available. At least you have a chance. So people say, why do you do this stuff, Joe? Well, I started out, I had a heart attack, and because everything fell into place, I survived. There was 2 times in my life where my dad went down in front of me. He was laying there, I remember it was Thanksgiving. And he's sitting there and he coughs out his false teeth, and my uncle's across the room sitting. I said, Lou, you know CPR? I don't know CPR. Anybody else? No, I don't. So I called, or whatever it may be. Well, we did what we knew how to do. We cried, we shook him, and we prayed he came to. Okay? He had a heart attack, not sudden cardiac arrest. Came to, So you need to go, don't follow the guy and go to the hospital. Next day I went to the doctor, went in there, and the doctor says, Ralph, I can tell by your blood work, you've had 7 heart attacks already. I didn't know he saw quit smoking. And he did. Lived to be 78, but died of heart disease anyhow. And that's just what happened. So I guess my point to you guys, and I'm so glad you came, Beth, and maybe Bob Byers is watching out there and thanks tonight instead of coming over or whatever they do, this is being video. I really appreciate the opportunity to work with the township because this is a once in a lifetime opportunity where you can make a difference in your townships and in your counties by putting these out so they're available and things. That Pulse Point, whenever I travel, I go to where it is. It's a national app that the largest AED company in the whole United States is Zoll. And it used to be they didn't share where their AEDs were with each other because the Zoll didn't want the DefibTech guy to go in and say, hey, I see you're buying Zolls, I'd really like you to take a look at buying DefibTechs and put a big sales pitch on it. They didn't want to sell that stuff. Finally, Zoll says, hey, we're in business to save lives. They gave their whole database of where every Zoll AED was that they've ever placed in the United States to Pulse Point, which is this nonprofit. And hey, it's working now. And drives the dog nuts. Anyhow, they gave it to him. So now anywhere you go in the United States and you pull a Pulse Point, you can see where the closest AED is to you. My daughter lives in Irving, Texas. Went to visit her and says, okay, you know, I've already had a heart attack. Let's see where the closest one is here just in case I go down because you're going to work me so much here in the next couple of days. Boom, boom, boom. It was a golf course that was like 3 blocks away. It's good enough. Now you know. But it's amazing that you're able to find these.
Now, is every one of those there require electricity if it's inside or outside?
Mm-hmm. Other than in Florida and in South Dakota, we run them off of solar power because it's sun down there all the time. So that's okay. It's $6 worth of electric a month, and it just runs off of other 110 that we do. We had one incident where we couldn't run it off of the cell phone, and things were running it direct off of Wi-Fi and things doing that. So we're able to figure it all out. But with this once in a lifetime deal with the Narcan, that's kind of neat. So this stuff's like $20 a piece or whatever it might be. There you go. You guys got some here for the time being and things. It'll be just nice to have so we can start familiarizing people what's going on there. But I'm excited because I think you guys should put a request in to the county or to the county opioid settlement, and then we can help you with that, Jackie. We should say, okay, where does it go? I think they asked for Gary Rossman's last ad because I got a copy of the paper. It was like $9,150. What was your ask, Beth? Do you remember?
Like 20, somewhere in there, because we asked for 2.
She asked for 2. So, here's his list.
So one is about 10,000, would you say, Joel?
Yeah, well, the paperwork's right here. You've got the pricing on there.
The pricing is on
that one page, so.
I think, what's his name, Rothstein said it was somewhere around 8,500 or something like that.
Yeah, 1,650 plus the AED was 950 plus, you took $600 a year. They figured $500 for an electrician to come up and hook it up. I'll be candid with you. Here it is, 9,150. You put in 500. Some electricians will do it for free, and you put your logo on the front of their logo. You know, like electric powered by. We get some of that out there. But when you're asking for a grant, you put that in there, and if you get it free, that's a bonus. You don't have to pay it out. And then the bleed kit is $150, and we give the Narcan the first time free instead. So that's how we came up to this $9,150. So if you ask for that amount and then say we're requesting funding for 50% of it, then the township can pay the other amounts. There's all kinds of places where money can come from. Jeff's listening to what's going on, and he might be able to come in and help out because he's familiar with that. Even Stearns Electric, the Operation Roundup, we funded some of these. They haven't funded all these, but they've given like $1,000 or $2,000 or $2,500. Lions clubs have been phenomenal. One of our board members is the Lions Club, where they've come in and they've really pitched in on these. Anybody that's got those gambling funds is a good one. We had in Albany, we had a little gal who had ran a lemonade stand. She raised $850, and Jason Spihala, the dentist there, picked up the rest. to help her out. In St. Joe, where I lived, Ken Flick passed away, and his wife had enough money from the memorial money, because he was the mayor and a pharmacist, and he died of a stroke. She bought the first 4 units that went into St. Joe. And so you never know who believes in this or had money that wants to come with it. Caitlin Gillett was a Girl Scout in Painesville, Minnesota, to get equivalent to the Eagle Scout for Boy Scouts, the Gold Award for Girl Scouts. She raised money for 4 units in Painesville herself and put them there. So there are people out there that do this, that believe in this, and the more people you can get involved, the better off you are, because then they're buying into it, they're showing up, and coming back. So, any questions on the unit itself or anything that we get covered or should have?
You need to have it on a cement stand.
Yeah, either that or we mount right up to a building and things. The cement's kind of interesting because we're paying like $350 to $500 for it. Like this building here, if you put it here, you got a sidewalk on it, you can just kind of like butt it up, drill a hole.
Plug it right outside the door.
Right in there. That's what we did at the townships well, that was city of St. Augusta when I first talked to him. The gentleman that said, no way in hell you guys gonna put any of these in my city. 4 years later, we got 6 units, But yeah, you can do that. It's out in the middle of nowhere, like Gary Rostan's place, we worked a deal out with. It used to be Borger Concrete Remix behind there. They were like charging us like $300-400. Now it's $100. We got the scores down to. We just got somebody who's going to show up on one of their pickup trucks other than me and Rich hauling it, because we don't have the equipment, and then just bring it out. So it's like.
So if you put it out in the middle of nowhere, I know Rothstein, when he bought that house, he had the previous owner had a electric run because she had lights at the end of the driveway. So what do you do if it's like Alcott and,
Well, then.
Well, this seemed like something like a Christmas tree.
Right, but where do you run it from?
Yeah, but you'd have to get a separate service.
Just need a 110, there's people that got lights. I think he had a light at the end of his driveway.
But
That's what
like
he was.
Larry said, like out in the middle of nowhere, you have to have a special service meter. So then you're talking $40-50 a month just for.
Yeah, you know what, you want to put it where everybody knows where it is.
Yeah.
So when it's ready to go, you don't think twice, but you just know when you're driving by and you're seeing it, things. On a lake, you want to have it at different points around the lake.
Right.
No, I do know this, that we actually took us 4 years to get legislation passed at the state of Minnesota, that we can now put signage on all the state highways that says AED with an arrow, thanks to some, actually, and believe it or not, I couldn't, this is the last day of the legislature, this was last year. We know how it can be pretty good. We got what's called a green board in both the Senate and the House, meaning all Democrats and all Republicans voted yes on that bill. I think it was the only bill last year that happened to. So they believe in this, so we can put signage along the road on the back of the brochure. You'll see signs that we can say point arrows this way, that way, 1 mile, or wherever it may be. Now that we've talked about this, as you guys are driving around, you're going to start seeing these signs all over,
And you come to Melrose, right to the park, there's a arrow.
Yeah.
I have a question. It says you have a $600 a year monitoring full maintenance agreement. You have a 4-year full warranty for labor material replacement of all electrical components, as well as a 4-year software and firmware updates. What happens on the 5th year?
Well, we can only go up 4 years, that we're getting from our manufacturers. More than likely, we're going to be okay to redo that. Okay. So as long as you have the monitoring agreement, all that will be included. So that's an excellent question.
But on the 5th year, if it wasn't warranted, that would be still replaced with the new device, with the new hardware and firmware for the $600, not
Right. We've actually had AEDs go bad. No one knows why they went bad, but we just went out for a brand new AED because that's what we do. Our nonprofit consists of, we got a board of like 8 people, myself and Rich, and then we have 1 employee. That's his daughter Jessica, who monitors all this and things for us. The monies that we take in, 91% goes, to fund that. So we're very frugal that way. Get a lot of volunteer help. Do what we need to do. if you went to our website, did you go to our website and look at the state of Minnesota? It's pretty impressive. We're all over the state of Minnesota. And usually it's because there's a lot of, tragically what happens is someone will lose a loved one because of this, and then you start their own foundation, that they do the GoFundMe page, and then the family gets tired, and it's like, no, what are we gonna do? We got this money or whatever it might be. And then we, they hear about us, and then we say, well, why don't we work with you, and we'll do all the work for you, and then they start placing them in their communities around the area. So, Jeff, what are you thinking?
Good deal. I mean, it's good to have them all around.
What happened to those two that I had open?
Not that way.
Give it back, Ernie.
Well, now take back, you got the one there, right? You can keep that one.
Well, thank you for the information.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Joel.
You're welcome.
Appreciate you coming out here, doing this and, your time and everything. Thank you.
Well, I think what's gonna happen based on what Jackie said, because, in 1 week, we put this one a hard no, because you got the hard no letter. Gary got the hard no letter. You were about to give 2A, okay, have Joel come and talk. Maybe we'll start funding these at half throughout, because they got.
She did confirm, right, that she told me that she was having you come out and present to them on the 18th or 19th of November, Joel.
She probably emailed me, and I didn't get a chance to look at my email
All right,
yet today, so.
yeah, that was this afternoon.
But I will check on that tomorrow.
So just for the board's information, when I had talked to her earlier in the week and I had heard what she had to say, I didn't think that that would be an avenue for any kind of funding, but I thought that if that wasn't, and you were still as a board maybe thinking like, well, what if we just spot one to put here at the town hall or whatever? Do we have any access to money? Well, remember, we do have the Sourcewell match fund, and that's available to us until next summer. That's a $15,000 grant with a 25% match, which would be $3,750. Now, if the opioid money does come through, we might be able to leverage the 50% against the Sourcewell grant, and then it would be a free, we would be able to fund one of them, one machine for the year under the Sourcewell match grant. So it's just something to think about, that's available to us.
You could go to some places like the Lions Club, like you said, the Lions Club is good. I mean, what happens if you went to places like Central Care? Is that something that they would do, or the fire department? I know.
Central Care would probably say no, because they gave us the $25,000 originally to start our nonprofit, and they haven't done. They support our golf tournament every year and things like that.
But they're not funding you; they're funding us.
Have at it.
And then like the fire department, I know Big Bird is a big contributor to Freeport and some of the fire departments around here. And, they were gonna go ask them for, some funding too.
The Holdingford Fire Department ran a pancake breakfast. It was a drive-through pancake breakfast that went, which was really kind of cool, and they raised enough money to do it. I think so. There's
other places.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. Thanks, Joel. Thanks a lot.
Thank you for having me.
Moving on then, to item 8. Bluebird Drive inquiry.
I put this on the agenda because GIS, Tom Trevanik from GIS Todd County had reached out and sent a message wondering about the end of Bluebird Drive. And I forwarded it, I think, to Arnie and Joel. They show that Bluebird Drive ends in a private road, and they are requesting clarification on that. Is Bluebird Drive entirely a township road, or is there an ending section to it that turns into a private road? Do we know the answer to that?
Well, an understanding of it, where's the request coming from?
I believe somebody inquired, but they're trying to clarify it on the GIS
mapping.
county mapping.
So there's the forward section and there's a cul-de-sac, which was on the map that you showed, or that you had sent, excuse me. That was my understanding of the end of the township road, what earth grades and plows. And the private road extends from there all the way to the end.
From the cul-de-sac to the end?
That's what Norby Holmes and I were out there reviewing. That's what he said, it ends right here where the, was kind of a cul-de-sac right there.
Yep.
And he said,
But if you look at the map and what the county has, it continues farther past the cul-de-sac, and then it just abruptly ends. And then there's still private road past that.
So should I let him know that it actually starts at the cul-de-sac?
I guess I thought that
Private.
the county map was our source of truth.
Where do we quit plowing at, or where are we maintaining to? Just the cul-de-sac?
Just the cul-de-sac, which is proximal to where they settled.
supposed to be halfway down,
According to what the map shows, but I mean, there's no place to turn around further down. And we haven't had any residents note or comment or complain that we haven't plowed what is considered.
and we never did any maintenance on that from the cul-de-sac on down.
Not that I'm aware of.
Let's just state that this is what we take it to, and
Let him know that, and if he has further questions, I'll have him contact you.
I can reply to the email too.
Okay, great.
item B, 51st.
I would like to see this road repaired. Arnie and I were out there and I showed them some of these spots. We got 3 residents on the east side where water's coming off their driveway. It is running in the ditch, it's running down along the edge of the road. Got some washouts there. On the south end where it connects to Highway 28, there, it's a wash 40 and right along 28, there's some potholes there. People are actually driving up kind of on the side of the road, so they don't have to drive through here. And I took Greg Cup out there and drove it with him. And he recommended we put some tar milling stuff like 28 and get this fixed. It seems like water stands there and we get this roughness in the road, so I'd like to see it fixed. And Greg said he'd be willing to fix it.
But then I got thinking, Dale, there's a 50-foot road right away on Highway 28, and every other place they got a bump out, out to the road right away. Well, here they don't have anything at all, it's just like the edge of the road. I don't know how I have to get a hold of the state. I tried to call Sox Center, State Farm, I can't find a telephone number to call.
We've been talking about this for a while.
Is that your
I think.
EV?
Yes, on the phone. It'll be fine.
I think it would be worth repairing. And we have crushed asphalt already, the herb crushed, that's
Yeah.
NBC's.
No, I'm not against putting some crushed asphalt or something.
The township road needs maintenance, get it fixed.
Because, when I looked at it, still have to get those shoulders pulled in along that road, because the edge of the road is higher than the road, and the water goes over there and just makes a gully all the way along the edge.
And then it doesn't help, these driveways are higher than the township road, the water comes down. And it, it comes and it starts running, follows the road. And like by Ellis there, it needs to be cut into the ditch so this water runs into the ditch, but yet it needs to be built up so that water runs that way. I mean, we got washouts that deep along this road, so. And he's, Tough said, probably take a couple of loads of gravel. And up by 28, he thought it would be best to put some ground tar in there to keep the stuff in place.
Sorry, go ahead.
I guess I'm just looking for recommendations. Greg said he had time, he would do it, and I just thought, let's throw him a bone and see once what he charges, kind of keep him on the back burner too, if we need work done and stuff. We got second person to go to.
You're not talking a ton of money, a couple loads of gravel ones.
Yeah.
Wow, the work.
I think he's got a grader now, doesn't
Yes.
he? He lives right there.
Mm-hmm.
For the last 2 years, when we were talking about roads of priority to do, that road along with the one by Gary Waring and the road I live on were the three in the township that had the most drainage issue. That with water ditching on the road, not in the ditch, and needed sloping, but I guess I'm in support, Dale, as long as we've got, I'm gonna talk out both sides of my mouth for a second, but we're prioritizing Alcott, but we have a lot of other roads, and just because you don't live on Alcott, it's just as much a priority to maintain all the roads. But at the same time, I'm gonna say, so long as we've got budget for it.
It sounds like it's a relatively serious problem right now, so.
Well, it's surprising how much traffic is on this road. And like I said, I didn't realize until Greg pointed it out to me up by 28, they're driving way over to the east side to miss these washboards in the road, roads getting wider.
We get an estimate from them before we commit, you think?
We could.
I think that's a good idea. So we know we're not jumping into something that.
Yeah. Sure.
Doesn't sound like a lot, but let's do our due diligence and let's see what he'll start to do with it.
Okay.
Look.
Bring it to the next meeting.
Perfect.
Okay.
But he's hoping.
I was just gonna say, are we gonna have enough time to do anything?
Well, it's been bad for a long time. It's been gonna be good in the spring as it is now, if he wants to still do it in the snow flies or whatever else, but I mean, we should do our due diligence and at least get an idea what's gonna cost first, I would think. Consensus on the board, what their thoughts are?
I agree with you.
Just with funding and stuff where we're at.
Get an estimate and see what's going on.
Okay.
Okay, item C.
Just wanted to give a brief update on Alcott. So fed back all of the information that we decided at last meeting to the engineer. He was working that up and would get final proposal to us. I haven't heard anything since. So I was gonna reach out to him again and see if he'll be coming out next month's meeting or December meeting. Would be a good time for us to have the residents out again, just before, as we finalize that, going into the new year. The only other update I have is I turned in all of the slips to the soil and water office for our granite. I have copies here, Jackie, that I'll leave with you. So would expect the grant money to be processing through. I don't know, Larry, you want to chase that down or approve it when it comes through? Would be useful, but.
I'm gonna be meeting with David tomorrow.
Perfect. So yeah, they've had them for 2 weeks, and we've got plenty of slips, so I would hope that we get all of our grant money for that.
Thank you, Joe.
Yeah.
I supplied Jackie with a letter that wife and I put together that can go with the grant, the state, and the walking path and stuff. Why the residents want that walking path. There's curves, older people living there and stuff, so I'm going around getting signatures to that, and I'll have that in a couple of weeks.
Help, everything will help.
Right. When did you, Joe, when do you think we should call a meeting for another check-in informational meeting with the residents? Before winter or?
Before the end of the year.
Before the end of the year?
Yeah, so I'll get confirmation from the engineer when the plan is done and when he can come out.
Okay.
Because we're gonna go into the new year and we're gonna seek bids in February. So, I mean, it could be in January, but we've really got 3 meetings before February.
Okay.
So one of those.
December probably wouldn't be a good one.
Probably not.
Okay.
I mean, unless we want just our own answers. December would be a good meeting to have.
Definitely. No argument.
Ours and Jeff's answer then. But no, I'll let you know, Jackie, and then we can kind of coordinate, I think, over email.
Yeah, we'll want to get a mailer out to everybody and set a date and, or if they're coming to a regular board meeting, get a mailer out to everybody on Alcott to tell them we're having the informational meeting.
Yeah, arguably, I think if December's not the best month, next month would probably be best, only because we would need enough time to turn any other amendments before February, which would be a full month, so.
Okay,
Should it look at the January one then?
January?
I would think it's kind of tight for November.
It's tight for November, we would just have to, we'd have to vote and approve that night for any amendments to the plan. So as long as we're all okay with that, if there were any, I don't think there will be, but if there are, probably January.
Okay.
Okay, we had Amway on there?
Yep.
Okay, Joe and I met Bart out there by Hamlin Trail. Eric Peterson, I think, he text you too, Joe?
He texted me initially about it, and then because of the back to the meeting minutes, we talked about this ditch last year, and you had taken an action to go out and look at it, so that's when I directed him to you.
Yeah, so then we called Bart up, so Joe and I went out and met Bart. Water runs down the guy's driveway, plus it's down the ditch. So we asked Bart what he could do. So he said, kind of reshape the ditch a little bit, make a couple little gullies or swales, so the water runs down and gets in the culvert that goes, the culvert is a driveway culvert. So it gets, water gets in there, so it doesn't go on the edge of the road, because it's getting a foot deep. Gullies going down there and goes on the guy's tire down there, and kept sweeping it off, so. And going down there, the road ditch is higher than the road, so to take that down, so we.
You did that already?
No.
So we off this week, sounded like.
Yeah, and then same time he said he was gonna do, by Frankie Kuhlman's there, he said I was kinda in the contract yet, to put, crushed granite in there.
Okay.
So the crushed asphalt.
Or asphalt, rather.
What we've already, what we've
Yeah,
already
what-
crushed. but
Yeah,
came off.
crushed granite.
So that will be, how that will be resolved, it will just be crushed asphalt
Till spring.
till spring, okay?
Yep.
Okay, but that will be better than the gravel, because that gets all,
Yeah, ain't that bad, I mean, people have to know, slow down.
yeah.
This is why you're hurts.
We have, I think what we'll have to talk about with our engineer, or whoever gets, more appropriately, whoever gets the bid for Alcott, that we have this patch to replace, and you brought up last month, I think we should look at our other tar roads. Alligator has a couple little spots that might just be worth patching, and I know there's a culvert on Blue Gill that keeps sinking, and you guys keep doing that.
Larry and I would.
It might be worth just cutting and patching when we're doing paving.
Would we look at the contract that would be giving the driveways on Alcott then instead of the main contractor probably not?
As far as I'm concerned, whoever does asphalt, I really don't care, whatever's the most economical, but just while we're doing the work.
But yeah,
And Craig Gray's already talked to me, he said that he was gonna get a couple doing drivers there, because he wanted to know if we could do that, and I said, no, not yet, but do it in spring. Well, he said, give me a shot in springtime, he said, I'll sit there and swing by and do it, so, guys all over.
Sorry, one other comment on Alcott. I've had several residents ask, I just wanted to give this feedback, several residents ask about the mailbox posts. And I said what our decision was, which was we would be putting them up, but at the owner's expense, and I only heard positive feedback. Everybody's like, oh, great, that's what you should do, which was, I was shocked I'm not often shocked, but I was shocked this time. So anyway, point is just to say, I haven't yet heard that feedback. We'll get some, I'm certain, but I just wanted to share that based on our decision. Thank you.
New business? Do a vote for snow plowing the town hall.
All right, so we sent out 2 quotes and we received 1 back. Here you go, Larry. And let me get you last year's. Here's last year's.
Not much to see.
This stuff doesn't have to be refrigerated. I think so.
I'll make a motion to approve the snow plowing quote.
I'll second.
Joe made a motion, Dale second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, opposed, motion carried. Culvert check,
The next item is an item that comes up on our calendar of events. I had added it last year or maybe earlier the year, and that is just a reminder to the board about checking culvert outlets in the township, and also not to forget Alcott Drive. I'm not sure if this is the right place for it to be, if it should be here, if it needs to be a reminder. It just came up, and so I put it on the agenda. Does that ring a bell to anybody, or is that something we even need on our calendar of events?
I remember
Check
us-
outlets?
I remember us talking about it because of several of the culverts are blocked, which are part of the problem roads that I've been talking about for a while, but all that to say, I thought we were doing it because of freeze up in February, March, when it's starting to melt. But I really don't know I guess what I'll say is, of the culverts that I'm thinking of, there's nothing we can do on a small scale to fix it. Those that have frozen up 2 years ago didn't freeze up last year. I don't know what we could have done differently with any of them other than either replacement, like the one down here, or,
that just got replaced.
yeah, or clear out all of the dirt that's blocking them, which is a bigger mouse than a cookie, right? So, I think it's appropriate to keep, but I don't know if it's, I would almost say we do it in the spring, once we know they're froze, and we have to deal with it, and then we address it right away, instead of look now and like, well, we know this will be a problem, and it may or may not be, depending on the winter that we have. So, I'd say maybe March meeting.
Right, and you kind of document now where all the culverts are, we've gotten a good handle on that a little bit, you guys have put a lot of that together, so.
Getting better on, I mean, we've got a ways to go, but.
It's coming
up.
So maybe move it to the March.
Yep.
Just push it forward to March. Okay, we
Or
can do
April.
that.
After,
Yeah, that might be, I mean, we'll know in March, but we've got enough other stuff going on in March, maybe April's better.
yeah, let's try April. Okay. Our big email,
Okay, the next item, I received an email from Julie Albrecht, and again, she works for Compass Consultants, who's a company that's working with Arvig. She reached out and basically said, this letter is meant to inform Birchdale Township of the upcoming Arvig Enterprises, EACAM Great Eagle Fiber Communications Project, and requesting township approval. The red lines on the attached map, and if you look up on the screen, I've got that pulled up, reflect the general location of the install. Arvig will be installing fiber optic cable in the road right-of-way to bring high-speed internet to the area. Construction is planned for 2026, and it will be completed via vibratory plow or directional boring. The route will be safe, and excavation tickets called in to Gopher State. One call, all necessary state and county permits will be acquired, and the existing utilities will be located and flagged in the right-of-way prior to construction. She asked about township permit request, or if there's a formal permit process. I notified her that we do not have a formal permit process, only that the board, that we be notified, and that road right-of-ways are, of course, untouched or remain the same. So I told her I'd be bringing it to tonight's meeting to inform the board of their plans. Which I think is good. I mean, always more fiber being laid by Arby is a good thing for broadband.
What on the road, Joe?
Well, they are, but what I'm noticing is we had that special meeting this spring where we agreed to match the funds if they did additional part. That's not on the map. Now, the consulting firm may not know what Arvig knows, but I can call Mark Burkholz and ask him.
Okay.
Because I mean, they're going by your house, Jim, but on the loop, they stop halfway, and that was one that by giving the grant, they were gonna go the rest of the way.
Why would they stop halfway on the loop?
Well, because that's where the exchange, if you remember when you explained it, that's when the exchange stopped, and they didn't have any service. Because Macaulay's old house was actually on US West out of Stock Center. But because we gave them that grant, they were gonna go the rest of the way there. And they were gonna do a spot on 15. And I thought they were gonna do the rest of 251st, all the way down to 28. Which isn't indicated on there. So anyway, I'll follow up with them and see.
And, you know, we continue, as the broadband committee in the town, in the county, we try to push residents to fill out the line extension application, which is on the front page of the Birchdale Township website. So anytime they've laid fiber optic, when they get to an end and there's a number of residents, that's where it's really key that those residents get together and they all fill out that line extension application. Because the broadband providers do actually use that, and they'll lay additional cable when they get those. So anytime they're doing this, we want to encourage residents, keep extending it, and keep applying to get that extension. So yeah, more of an informational.
Did they say when they were gonna start?
It was just, I believe, she just said 2026.
First of the year?
Yeah. Better have it by January 2nd, otherwise I'm writing a letter. I'm filling out another request.
Hey.
Thank you, Jen.
Yes, thank you.
I think D we have already addressed, correct?
I believe, yep.
Okay. All right, informational items. We received correspondence from Todd County Planning and Zoning regarding a variance proceeding for Adam and Rebecca Fiedler, 13035 County Road 15, Sauk Center. And the letter basically stated that the variance request for the parcel had been granted. Also, Todd County Planning and Zoning informed us of a public hearing scheduled for Thursday, November 6th at 6 o'clock in the Commissioner's Boardroom for the Sexton Family Cabin LLC, Section 25, Birchhill Township, Angus Trail, Gray Eagle. Request to create the Sexton BBL Legacy, a 2.92 acre one lot plat, as he came last month to talk to us about. And then the third item, correspondence from Main Street Title and Closing for a special assessment information request for Adam and Brittany Polipnik, 11369 213th Avenue, Sauk Center. And I responded that there are no special assessments from Birchdale Township.
Any other questions or concerns from the board? Now I'm looking for a motion to adjourn.
I'll make that motion.
Larry's made a motion, I have a second.
I'll second that.
Already second, all in favor? Aye, opposed? Carried.
What time? I don't know.
So who was awarded the contract for clearing out?
For, what's that?
For the snow removal at Hall.
Oh, that would be, that was Lonnie Ritter.
That's
Sorry. Yeah, Lonnie Ritter.
Okay.
Yeah. Beth, I think that, you know, when he goes to the meeting,
getting there.
then we'll find out if
Stuff.
the opioid committee decides to start doing that.
I know,
I don't know. I talked to her today.
I know.
It's just not something.
But them saying that they made a mistake and having $200,000 in pay,
I know.
I would like to know your plan.
Yeah, I know.
Because they have to spend it.
Sure.
And so it's like, what is your plan for that? You're gonna just keep adding money to the thing?
No, I mean,
They
no.
can't do that either.
Right.
Because I
At some point, they have to
questioned
spend it,
so
so
Yeah.
they're gonna
what's your
try and
plan?
do education and all that stuff.
Well, they know they've
So
got,
much of that.
they know they've also got some problems with drugs, in the county. There's no doubt about it. And they're gonna try to address that too, as
Called her a few
much as
times.
they can with the funds,
Called a
but
few times and left them.
I don't know about the
Just
source
fun
code, I'm
about,
not
you
sure
know,
what
because
source
it
code
wants
grant
to
you're
see
talking
brother.
about, but I
She
don't think
always
that's
blamed
open
on the
anymore.
other side.
See, we're,
Or
so
you
we're
different than-
considered
Yeah, it's like-
nonprofit.
Oh, you are.
Yeah, I
Okay.
believe so. I might be wrong, maybe I better clarify that. But I'll go check that with Isabella, but then it's still open to us. But if it's under local government, then it's closed.
Yeah.
So I do need to clarify that. And I thought we were under
So I'm
the
on, I'm
nonprofit.
on the advisory council up there.
Oh, are you?
Yeah. And so we just met last week to go through the Republican impact funding applications.
Yeah.
And then we were township.
Oh, they were, so maybe that's where we fall, and maybe that grant isn't available.
The only, I think the only one that
One of
was
the guys that's been
really
busted out.
open, if you haven't used it, is that 2000.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you could possibly do like 2000.
I didn't, but today.
So you go up to like the other side.
Because my, it just.
Probably have this on the right now.
It's 40 degrees on it. What's that? The sun would be broke. I don't know if it was being like,
So
but it
that
was all,
could maybe
you know,
switch
like one
for
way,
you.
the boardwalk went out, kind of cracked.
I always wondered, because we don't have.
You got Irvin.
Right, and I don't know.
Our township doesn't have
Right,
it,
so I don't know if that is.
but that grant tops up.
I didn't like it.
Yeah, so I don't know.
After
if
they
it's-
got that out, they
So
gave
there-
you
I know
just
that
the house
it
where
is
you
in the
walked
city,
around.
we can use it for,
Now it's gone.
Are you going up there tomorrow?
No, I'll just email everybody.
They're wonderful, I'm actually going up there tomorrow.
Oh, are you?
They
Yeah.
started to have things that they have to.
I don't even know.
Well, I don't know, I didn't.
It's totally optional, like, fit
Oh,
in your schedule.
Now that you say that, I think I have that. Do I have?
You probably are. You probably are.
Yeah, I might be doing that tomorrow. No, I know I have a lot of meetings tomorrow, I don't think I'm going there. Wait, let's see. Thursday, I am going there.
Oh, you're going,
Yes.
you're going for the difficult conversation.
Ideas for managing conflict.
They are
Or
That's a,
10 o'clock,
that's
or
a,
o'clock.
that's a recession.
Yeah, yeah, and I signed up.
I can't,
Well,
there was like no
he's
way I could
always-
miss, or I would have missed it first.
Oh,
He takes it in.
And I didn't want to take someone else's spot. So I just, I told her, like, they asked me a couple times, so I'm like, I would love to, but somebody else can take the spot when they can come. I absolutely could not make.
Yeah, and
But I would have
it's,
liked to go to that one.
it's hard, like, but I put it on
Got
there.
scales on the wheels. So they have a big.
Yeah. Just
On
sort of-
starting that trailer, the down, right where the garage was. They had a big first set box put on that ring.
And they're
And
down.
they said, oh,
You
some
know,
they had decided to get 50 miles per square foot or whatever. That was not the house. That's why they started.
Something you would never think somebody
Right.
Like, I mean,
I
you
know.
know, I had no
It's
idea.
huge.
I had no idea.
I mean, look at how
Right
much
now.
of an impact our counties survive when they get some of that. Look how much benefit we get out of that. Or
I budgeted for this.
Nowhere
It's
else.
got a
We
count
actually-
little- little up that-
We actually just found out today, because the.
They want the county to know as they want.
The application
And then they see if we move it off.
When we reviewed last week, we
Well,
found out
it's
that the fire department was awarded
she told
the
me
match funding, so they will
You
get forty.
guys next week, next week.
New Dozen Lake.
Good job.
We also applied for
Very well.
Yeah, you too.
50,000 for new turnip gear, but we don't know the answer
Well,
to that one
you
yet.
kinda-
So we're reviewing those.
Yay.
And then the
Experience
city
tell you
got,
what you can do this week.
we got a 40,000 match, so we got 50,000 impact.
Oh my God, congratulations
So yeah, we just
you
talked about
guys.
that today.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
Val.
yeah.
That is wonderful.
It's exciting for
Yeah.
small, like
Yeah,
small communities.
Oh, we got the impact grant about 2 or 3 years ago
When you
for the
did
township.
it, yeah.
Yeah, we just did all
Thank
the
you.
flooring, the furniture, we put in new heating and cooling, we did a bathroom, all
We
that.
had someone,
well.
Yeah, I know.
we had someone last week, that asked.
Oh, really?
like, "Does this stuff really make an impact on the communities?" And we're like,
If
Are you
you find out when that
kidding?
authority meeting is, let me know.
Yeah, I don't know, are you thinking like you would go to it?
yeah.
Okay.
I thought about it too, unless it conflicts with.
I gotta take the horse
fire
and
board
rice
meeting.
She
I know-
said today, it's 18th or 19th of November.
I know the last
what
one,
time?
when we applied was October 15th, so it was like the
Take care,
second
thank you.
Wednesday or something.
Okay.
Well, we just do that, they're just slips for the all costs.
Yeah.
You need them
Oh,
for-
okay. I'll keep
But
it.
yeah, so somebody asked, like, they're like, "Does this really make an impact?" And we're like, "Are you kidding me? Like, in Grayville, nothing had been done to the city hall, you know, for 40 years. You know, it's like, yes, it makes an impact. Like, this is where people come to like get
So did they
information.
redo things at the city?
We
hall?
did, we
Nice.
did. We put in new flooring. We painted, we put in, got a new council table, new chairs, we got iPads for the council, like, yeah.
Wow.
So, yeah,
See, and I
it's
just think,
huge.
you know, these communities, we don't have that kind of money, you know?
You don't, because if
And
we had,
that's why.
if we had the money that, like, they have given us for those things, we would do something else. I mean, you're
Right.
not gonna